A friend of mine resents the fact that not everyone in this world is terrified of vampires. He has a garlic chip on his shoulder. I tried out my new metal detector this morning. I came home with a sack full of Sepultura. I am no longer introducing my Black & Decker to friends. They should know the drill by now. A woman told me I was gorgeous, then slapped my face with her knuckles. It was a backhanded compliment. The extent of drug abuse in Irish farming is very difficult to calculate. It's like trying to find a needle in a haystack. I had a really grueling time during this morning's 1 kilometer rodent sprint. I came dead last. I think it's time to quit the rat race. The best decision I ever made was to become a swine jockey. I've been on the pig's back ever since. Just saw Jesus Christ skipping down the street whilst flapping his hands like a bird. The Lord moves in mysterious ways. I performed surgery on my friend, but forgot to give him anesthetic. He's angry. I think I touched a nerve there. It was keyhole surgery, but I could not find my keys, so I came in through the back door. Yeah, that friendship's over. I mean, when you think about it, isn't pizza just very expensive cheese on toast? I just typed self-loathing into Wikipedia. I hate myself for doing that. That Gulliver, oh yeah, he could give some awesome speeches to the Lilliputians. He could hold them in the palm of his hand. I hear Snow White was very rude to the 7 dwarfs on the set of that movie. No small talk. My friend is addicted to having syringes plunged into his chest. He's an adrenaline junkie. The other day I was boiling rice, and I decided to drain the rice by lifting it in my hand, pushing it into my ear. And it came out the other side, all dry and fluffy, ready to eat. I can't remember why I did that. I have a head like a sieve. I went to Pamplona for the festival, but the streets were empty. I got my dates wrong, you see. It was a couple months early. No bullshit. Anywhere. I like to freak out American tourists. I slide up to them and say, "It's close. Isn't it very close?" And they're like, "What?" And I'm like, "I mean, it's humid." I have this weird visual affliction whereby I can't recognize the symbols on money. You show me €2 coin and I can't make head nor tail of it. Earlier this year, I signed up for a night course called An Introduction to Sigmund Freud. €500. Bit pricey for a handshake. I like to imagine classic rock songs, updated for the millennial generation. For example, Elvis Presley, Love Me Tender, would be Love Me Tender, Love Me True, Swipe Me to the Left. The Beatles, Obla-dee, Obla-da, might become OMG, OMG, ROFL, LMFAO. They say life begins at 40, but can you imagine if life did actually begin at 40? As a grumpy, balding, 40-year-old man clambered out of your mother's vagina. When offering to help decorate a friend or family member's house, it's vitally important to be upfront about what you can and cannot do. Do not paint yourself into a corner. I bought a new speaker system, and it makes all my music sound like dogs barking underwater. It's a subwoofer. Imagine my surprise when I found out recently that Top Gear was not a show about scoring awesome cocaine. I was having a candlelit dinner with Marilyn Manson. He became fixated with the candle, thrust his face towards it, burning his hair like a goth to a flame. I played Casper the Friendly Ghost in a stage play. The critics said I gave a luminous performance. I got my holiday snaps developed, and when I looked through them, I noticed there was a tiny stethoscope attached to each image. I suspect my photographs have been doctored. I threw a bucket into a police station last week. The police are still looking into it. Go forth and multiply, said God to the mathematician. My grandmother was a dear old lady. We got $2 million for her on eBay. It was a bidding frenzy. My postman is a crazy risk taker. He's always pushing the envelope. I used to have a photographic memory, but I kept forgetting to take the lens cap off. When I smoke weed, I'm convinced my water boiling device is from Africa. I guess you could say that's an example of the pot calling the kettle black. I bought a shirt recently. Every time I wear it, I get an urge to shout, "Timber!" It's a lumberjack shirt. I went to see Rigoletto at the Met. Singers sliding around the stage and bubbles floating in the air. I hate soap operas. I know a guy with many skeletons in his closet, but it's okay. He's an archaeologist. I laughed hysterically when an artist friend painted my body in a shocking color using just a feather. I was tickled pink. When it comes to having nervous breakdowns, I'm not nervous at all. I have confident, enthusiastic breakdowns. I once saw a magician turn a fresh-faced 14-year-old boy into a wizened-up 90-year-old grandfather. It was the oldest trick in the book. I worked prosthetics on the Hellraiser movies. One time the demon bad guy was wearing so much face rubber he collapsed from heat exhaustion. The cast and crew were in shock. Silence. You could hear a pinhead drop. I can't believe I've been alive on this planet for 4 decades, and I've only just noticed that the word here is just ear with H. Forget everything you think you know about amnesia. My intake of alcohol is increasing, but only when I ski. It's a slippery slope. They say home is where the heart is, and they are the cops, and they're wrong. The heart is in a shallow grave on Rhode Island. While touring Europe, Miles Davis was called Kilometer Davis. But you have to laugh, don't you? Especially when you're tied up with piano wire and your torturer is shouting, "Laugh!" A friend of mine says he hates all Irish music. I said, "You too?" He said, "Yeah, me too." I said, "The chorus?" He said, "No, just the verses." I don't need any more buckets on my bucket list. I have enough buckets. Did you hear about the millionaire junkie baby? He was born with a silver spoon in his mouth. I spent this afternoon rubbing pollen into my inner thighs and suckling nectar. I was a busy bee. The problem with online fitness training regimes is the buffering. Just when you think you're getting buff, your muscles freeze, then crash. A new glass blower, one of the stranger fetishes. Pays well though. I saw an erotic film about French fruit. Last mango in Paris. Sponges are narcissists. They are self-absorbed. Cut. Right.